Hey guys, so this is the 4th episode of Throttle Talk. I'm Nick. This is Anthony.
Hello.
Today we have a very special guest, our very good friend, Christian Boyadjian.
Oh, clapping.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say my name.
This is what you could say our second take doing this because we had the camera issue, but we're all good now. We have new mics, new table. Hopefully we've addressed some of the noise issues. Just a disclaimer, the table right now got painted yesterday. It's still not fully dry. So we have a few covers just to keep us going. And yeah.
I mean, our work is choppy, but I mean, we're making it work.
Yeah, we get smoother.
We're making it work.
Yeah.
It's doing its job. The table's doing its job.
So yeah,
Exactly.
let's just start it off. You want to tell us a bit about yourself and how you met both of us?
Okay, so
Starting with Nick, maybe.
I met Nick at Gilbert Pro Tune.
Okay.
He's a tuner.
Yeah.
He's one of the fine tuners in Lebanon. And I met Nick back then. I was tuning my brother's car, and he didn't know.
What was the
Which
car?
M5 F10.
I still don't know what
What
you
were
said
you
that
doing?
car,
What
It's
were
bro.
actually, it's not like he didn't know. He knew, but he didn't know. I actually ordered downpipes. He's like, we'll just
do some stuff to
some
it.
flash for the
Yeah,
ECU.
so you were doing like a JB4.
Yeah, but all of a sudden he saw that his exhaust is going down and the downpipes were getting installed. But
Wait,
he enjoyed it.
just to give people a little bit of a heads up. So a JB4 is basically a piggyback tune.
Yeah.
So basically it's fully reversible.
Yeah.
They quote unquote you could hide it from the company, like no one could tell.
For the warranty, we put it
Yeah.
to avoid the warranty, like not to.
You could hide it, but like if they really dig, they could
They could
view
know.
it. Yeah.
Best Lebanon, would they actually really dig?
It depends
yeah,
if it's
yeah.
like if it's
Yeah.
if like let's say you come to them and be like, I bought this car from you and now the engine is going after 2,000
Yeah,
kilometers.
They're gonna dig to save some money.
Yeah,
for
kid,
sure.
no, because in the end they pay your warranty,
But
and
only
they
in
have to
Lebanon.
get their money from BMW.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
so if BMW says no, we're not going to honor this warranty, they have
They have
it's
to
out of their
Yeah,
pocket.
but this is only in Lebanon. Like if you buy a car from Dubai, any M, and you want to tune it, they tune it for you, and they won't remove the warranty.
It depends. BMW in Dubai, Abu
And
Dhabi
it stays international warranty.
Yeah, it's a different story. It was something that was happening that's now over. It's no longer like that. But anyways,
I'm just laughing because 2 minutes into the podcast we started to talk about BMWs. by the
yeah,
way.
wow, that was
3
fast.
BMW owners right here.
I'm
So, yeah.
trying to be JDM.
So let's just get back to it. Like you met Nick at Gilbert's.
Yeah, but we became really close friends is when we actually got an invitation to Bahrain to drive the new
I did not know that.
M2 competition.
M2 competition and the new M5 F90 and the F90 competition as well.
So
Yeah.
more BMW.
Yeah, more BMW. So basically,
How long ago was this?
This was
3
October 2018.
Oh, I thought you knew Nick way longer than that.
No, we've met like
Yeah,
We've
I
met
met 2
once.
years before Bahrain at Gilbert.
At Gilbert.
That's
a
it.
brief meeting.
Hi, bye. Like I just saw him.
Yeah.
hi,
I was actually very like into finishing my car. Like I was excited. Like I want to finish the
Yeah.
M5.
no,
You're not seeing
we
anyone
know.
from
Yeah.
And I was actually very
What about
satisfied.
Anthony? How have you met Anthony?
Anthony, I met him. First, I knew Anthony. Like I knew his page, Beirut Beast, before meeting Anthony. It's like one of the oldest pages on social media, and the most booming pages on social media. So yeah, that's when I met Anthony. When he actually did the ride, we did the ride to not Duma. It
To
was-
Duma.
Bala
Duma.
Yeah.
Duma.
That was the ride you met me?
Yeah, that was the ride. I actually saw you. Saw you.
Nah,
But-
that was
That was the horrible.
But
was-
the person who actually told me to go to this ride and like made me more excited to go, like yalla, is Jad Mallah.
Hmm?
Back then,
A common
Le
friend.
Mallah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and back then he was driving an Audi.
An S8.
Black
Yes, that's
one.
S8.
I remember
Yeah.
that ride was really hectic. It was like 50 cars. I remember the photo shoot car was a Bentley.
Bro, there
It was
was
a Bentley convertible. That was like
not just a Bentley Super Sport, by the way.
whatever
There
it
was a
was. We
Ford,
reduced
GT,
that
yeah.
car.
Ford GT. I got a
Ford
Ford GT. I managed to get a Ford GT for the ride.
There was a GT3 Shahan.
Shahan was
Shahan.
there. By the way, you know Shahan wasn't supposed to be there. مش إنه معزمنا. But he was driving to his house, and then we saw him, and he just saw like a line of like 50 cars. He was like, "Oh, okay." I'll just
And,
follow
no,
him.
and back then, I met Shahan through one of my closest friends before that ride, which is Omar Khuzami.
Yeah.
And should be mentioning names, by the
It's
way.
fine. But Omar was
It's
there,
up to
by the
you.
way. Come on.
Omar was there.
Yeah,
so-
Gen 4,
so-
Pikachu. Whatever.
Pikachu, yeah.
Pikachu,
Pikachu
yeah,
outside
yeah.
the window, yeah.
With funny bones.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't Pikachu. We call his car Pikachu because it's
Ah, yeah,
yellow.
yeah.
Ah,
But I had
It was
the,
like
the doll called the Funny Bones.
A yellow tiger.
It would be like
looking
Funny
thing.
Bones.
so you
Yeah.
met Anthony through a ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but for me, knowing Christian, or like we all call him Boya.
My nickname is Boy.
I always saw Boya on the road. I mean, you're mostly known as a drifter. Mostly.
Drifter driver. Listen,
Drifter driver.
It's the
Well-
person. For example, like when I had the Bilsteins installed my M2.
Yeah.
First thing I did was you have to have the setup. How many
Okay.
clicks do you want? How stiff or how Who do you get to who do you call at 10:30 at night? Like, can you want to come with me? You
And
want to
never
drive?
says no.
Like,
Yeah.
I called Boy. I'm like, yo, suspension is done. I want you to drive it. Tell me what you think. How should we tune the front and rear? So we get a balance.
Right.
We went met the Saria at like 10:30, man. There was no one on the road. And khalas, DSC off, the cars. Like, he's an
He's
amazing.
doing his
No,
thing.
he's really, listen, as a driver, I can attest to that. He's one of the most skilled in the sense of give him any car, he'll figure out the balance.
Yeah,
He'll know
yeah,
what's,
yeah.
I don't know how he does that, but he does it. So we drove that too for like 20 minutes. We just did a few runs. And every time we would change a few settings in the suspension. And
Your
then it
car,
was on
your
the
car
money.
was a bit harder than any cars I actually drove because you just wanted to fill the gap from the front tires.
I've widened my
So-
front and rear tires by 20 mils just because I don't like using spacers.
Yeah.
So it has a tendency to understeer, but
we managed.
this
to-
is we've addressed it as much as we could with the
Yeah.
suspension, but it
No,
just
it
needs
did
an
it.
alignment.
It actually did a very good job and the alignment, but the only thing because your tires were actually big in the front,
Yeah.
you feel that there's no force in your steering. Like your
There's
steering is
vague.
loose.
It's a big vague. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. No.
Yeah,
That's it. Other than that,
I've heard
it's not.
stories like this from other people, but until you've told me about like people asking you to come drive their cars just to test it out. And one of the collectors, we're not going to mention his name, he told you to test drive his car as well.
Yeah.
It's a recurrent thing. That
I get phone calls till today. Till today, I get phone calls. People buying new cars and they want to see what the car performs.
and you're the go-to guy.
But I do take full responsibility by not pushing
sure.
everything to the
He
maximum.
is.
The
Yeah,
only cars I
definitely.
push to the limit
Are
Your own
yeah,
are
his
my
cars.
own cars. My
Mm.
own cars. Like I drive them like I stole them.
Yeah,
So-
which is how they should be driven. If
Yeah,
they're
I-
performance cars.
Of course. Why are you buying them?
Okay.
No, I agree. I agree with
That-
Why are you
no,
buying them? You're enjoying them, but you have to maintain them.
For sure.
Like
Hey.
when you drive your car and you abuse your car, you have to service them on point. Like
yeah.
you cannot delay the stuff that are being damaged. No, something is damaged. There's a mechanical problem. Solve
Yeah,
it.
this
on
is
point.
Because
something
if
we
you
spoke
delay
about.
it, if you delay it, it's gonna cause more
It's gonna
problems.
cause
and
more
problems
damage.
as well.
Exactly.
More
No, we've
damage.
spoken about this. Like once you, especially with like sensitive cars such as BMWs or whatever, like high performance cars in general, you have to be proactive rather than reactive with the maintenance, or else it'll just bite you in the ass. So
Yeah.
address it while it's still a minor issue before it progresses, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, like you're the go-to guy when it comes to like driving cars. Where did this love for cars originate?
Okay, so basically, it was since day one, since I was a kid. Like,
Yeah.
I have proof since I was a kid, pictures, and I used to like collecting scale cars,
Same.
and I used to drift with the scale cars, and I used to play. It was look, it's a passion, it's a hobby.
like since you were a kid, you knew like this is
Yes,
is
I
it.
knew, and my
This is
parents.
my lane.
And by the way, since I was 6, I used to go kart every day.
Oh, okay. So karting was a
Every
huge
day,
part.
if I had no studies after school, I have to go. So I used to go.
Where would you go? Like, is there a place?
Back then, there was no RPM. There was
Zoo?
Zoo. The one
pit stop.
Pit stop.
Yeah.
Yes, pit stop. And I used to drive their cars. We used to start with the 7 horsepower. Then you have to drive the 7 horsepower for a certain time, maybe 13 to 14 times. And I was 6.
You have to also get like a certain,
A certain time. أنا جاي
a certain time.
time
yeah.
to go to the bigger.
Yeah, because
I
in
got-
Dubai, at Dubai Autodrome, you like have to achieve a certain time for them
To
to
go
allow
into
you to
another
get
class.
the more
Yeah,
horsepower.
True, true.
On
true.
هيك فيه؟ أو-
Yeah, yeah. But back then, on my days, no, there was no time. Just
Okay,
like driving,
okay.
just fooling around.
So you have to like drive it to like 14 times, 15 times so that they would let you take the more
yeah, but
powerful one.
at the age of 14, after going karting nonstop, like I used to do bad in school because of my obsession in cars and driving. Like all I used to think, like I can't wait to finish school or Saturday to come, like or Friday, like after school, just for me to go and drive. Like this was everything that was in my mind. Like I wanted to be.
Didn't you think you want to take it a bit more than that, more than like karting, and to try to do something?
I tried. I'm not gonna lie, but my parents.
You have the body for it.
I have the perfect height. I have the perfect height, but I wasn't fit at all.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
I forgot.
Can you elaborate a bit?
Can
more?
I say obese?
I was obese, almost stage 3. I was stage 3.
Yeah.
It's like tuning a car, but I was stage 3.
I met Boya after he lost weight, so that's not even in my memory.
Yeah, so imagine this frame, 140 kilos.
Yeah. Maybe we can add like a pop-up picture.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm beating kids that are 55 kilos.
Let's just
like, add a picture.
Somewhere around here. But like something I realized, like, because I didn't know about the karting thing, by the way. Like I've been friends with him for a while, but I never knew about
me neither.
But like I noticed now, like it's more of a traditional, like all the racing drivers you see in Formula 1 today.
They start out in karting.
Like Lewis Hamilton, if I'm not mistaken, at the age of like 4. I'm not sure. Like at a very young age, you have to. They start.
Yeah, I started at the age of 6.
Yeah, there you go. So that makes sense. Makes sense like that. So you said your parents, like when you were doing well in school, they were supporting you, or when like, or no, how did they generally take your love for cars?
So once they saw me going extreme in driving karting, so I started driving the 13 horsepower.
Okay.
And on the 13 horsepower, when I was actually 11 years old, and I was probably like 85 kilos.
I was about to say, do you want to mention your weight?
I was 85 kilos, and the other races that were against me driving the karting, they were probably like from 45 to 55.
Okay.
Wow, 30 kilo
huge
difference.
And
on the 13 horsepower kart, that.
Yeah, but it was never my karting. It's a rental karting.
Of course, of course.
But for 3 years in a row, I was winning.
Okay.
And I was the one overweight, and you can actually tell on the straight line they used to all overtake me. But on the corners. Maybe I had more weight, more grip. I used to overtake it.
That's how it works. Then.
Sometimes weight does its job.
It did its job for you.
My car was glued. I'm not gonna lie, it was glued to the ground.
Tub. So moving on a bit. So now that we know a bit about your background as a child growing up, what was the first car you got?
That's gonna be a bit funny. Because
you can also tell us where it is, like, or what ended up happening to it.
So basically,
we put him on the spot.
So my parents were fed up me stealing their cars.
Okay, were you 18 at the time, or is this underage?
I'm sure he wasn't 18 when he started driving.
No, I'm gonna actually say my age. I might go to jail after this podcast.
There's no proof. I think they have bigger problems right now. You're 15.
I was 15. I steal my sister's car. She had the Peugeot 206.
You gotta start somewhere.
I love that.
You gotta start somewhere.
I was a very bad kid when I was young.
Yeah.
Like because when she used to drive it, I like drifting. While she was driving, all of a sudden I used to pull her handbrake.
Oh my!
And my best friend used to be sitting. Yeah, and my best friend, you know him, Malik. He used to sit at the back of the seat, and he's like, pull it. I'm like, should I? He's like, yeah. We used to go sideways. And my sister wouldn't understand anything. She'd just see like lights going this way, lights coming this way. It's like the car was flipping in the road, and we'd be laughing.
What a dick move.
After that, my sister owned a BMW 318.
Okay. Here we go.
There we go.
That's how the game started.
And what generation was this?
It was an E46.
Okay, all right, okay. So, taking it easy.
We're getting there.
All right.
So I used to drive the car at night, not day. At night, they were all be sleeping.
There would be no police in this
world. I swear I was the sneakiest person in my house.
We're talking about your family, Anna. They were all sleeping. You used to take the car.
Yeah, I used to take the car, and I was overweight, and no one can actually listen to my steps. Because in my house,
the insulation at the bottom of your toes, then.
I don't know. I probably had all in suspension. I never squeaked in my life. I never actually ever squeaked. So I used to take the car keys, and my dad would probably shoot. He will shoot me Like if he knew, like
he will. You're underage
driving irresponsibly. If I crash into someone, he will go to jail. Actually, she will go to jail.
Yeah.
I wish I crashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you guys still living where you live now? By the way.
No. We used to live in Fanar.
Okay. So
now
I'm getting there because the twisties in Fanar.
Actually, Fanar in Lebanon is the road where it's like almost
where they grew up.
From point A to point B, it's all S.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a huge S curve.
Exactly.
So you used to steal your sister's car, your parents' cars, everything.
But I never enjoyed it.
Okay, of course.
Because different. Yeah,
you don't have a license.
No, I used to see it at night. They were all sleeping.
Okay.
I don't know. I used to see it at the time of 1 a.m. I used to drive to like 4 to 5 a.m. Like all be sleeping. I come and park it back. Yeah, and I used to fill it with gas so they won't realize.
Bro, you drove it for like 3 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
What would you do, man?
I'll try to do donuts and non-stop. But the thing is, you never used to do donuts properly because it's open diff.
Yeah.
But I used to play on its weight many times and handbrake and probably broke the handbrake once. But yeah, after that, I really fell in love with the car when I actually stole the car again.
Let's just say borrowed.
Borrowed the car.
Without knowing.
Yeah, and it was raining.
And that's how he was born.
And that's how, till today, I'm 29 years old. And when I actually...
Whenever it rains, he's on
the first drop of rain.
Yeah.
Always on the group, guys. Rain.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, rain. Let's go.
No matter what the car is, once I had no car, my car was at the garage. I'm like, it's raining. And my brother back then, he had no car. He was not 18 yet. I sold my mom's Range Rover.
Wow. Oh my God.
And already the Range Rover 2006, Supercharged, as one of the shittiest cars, sorry for this word, that we ever bought because it's a...
don't apologize.
Are you about to say that the British engineering is bad?
It has one of the worst engine, suspension, and transmission.
Yeah.
Basically. But the engine used to do its job if I'm actually like on second gear.
Does it have torque?
And you have to
work?
It was full of torque.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the 2006, not 2010.
I'm thinking you have a lot of torque and
it was around like 380.
I mean, I know where this is going.
Something like that. Yeah. So the tires were dead. And it has shitty tires, which were Continental, and they're shitty till today.
Yeah.
And I was drifting. I was four-wheel drive drifting. And I was happy. But after that, the service was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, Range Rover for you.
Yeah. And there was no warranty.
So
but what was
what was the first car your parents were like, okay,
before we get to that, did your parents find out about any of this before they bought you your first car?
Nope.
But okay. They're gonna find out now.
All right. Yeah. Hopefully.
That's fine.
But yeah, so after that, when did you get your first car? Was it at like 18 and what was the car? What was the thought process of getting that car?
I got it actually at... I was going to turn 18. My dad got it for me 1 month before turning 18.
Okay.
And so basically, once my sister moved to the US and her car stayed before me turning 18. So he sold the car. And I was... the BMW.
Okay.
318. So I was really sad because I really liked it on the rain. And I was enjoying it. So I was enjoying in winter, like in winter in Lebanon, it's always rain. So
ساكن بالفنار.
There you go.
That's it.
زعلت كتير صراحة.
Yeah.
So what was it?
All of a sudden I see a 328 E46 under my house. But he got it to me and he didn't know it had a broken transmission.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So it's not your fault.
So actually I was even happier because I had to put a 320 transmission. So actually, when you put a 320 transmission on a 328 engine, the shiftings will become shorter.
So the shorter gearing. So the car felt like it was more powerful.
People literally thought I swapped the car to an E46 M3. As much as it used to drift, like the car used to spin out, but I used to break a lot of the transmission
wouldn't handle the power.
Although it's not that fast, but
still, yeah.
But technically, it's not made for the engine. So I'm like, no, keep it. And it's cheap. It wasn't expensive. Like the whole tranny was probably like $300.
Okay.
So it was fine. While the 328 was around $800 to $900. So
Just
No brainer.
Keep changing.
Yeah.
change it twice before you change.
So
once
this
for
is
the
when I
28.
actually fell in love with it.
And what happened to that car?
What happened is my dad saw me drifting
Okay.
that day, and he got really mad.
Okay.
So he sold it.
Wasn't there? Hold up. I thought. Didn't your dad once buy you a car by accident, thinking it's a stock car, and ended up being a car with like a swap turbo or something?
I didn't mention this because I'm ashamed to mention that because it was actually a 2002 BMW.
Okay.
It was very old.
So that was the first car.
That was okay. So
That's what I was getting.
I was trying to.
He's
show-
hiding it. He's hiding some
yeah,
stuff from
okay,
us.
fine,
Like,
fine.
full
no,
truth out here.
No hiding. Fine, no hiding. So
full
he
disclosure.
got me a 2002. A shitty ass car that if you actually open the door falls off.
Okay.
But that bitch had a 745 turbo engine on it.
Okay.
And my dad didn't know.
Wow.
So it was engine swap.
Engine swap
And
it was manual.
turbocharged.
He's
Oh,
like,
God.
drive this shitty car, so
Yeah.
crash it as much as you want.
That's
Yeah,
the beater
first
car
car,
we
that's the
spoke
beater
about.
car.
Yeah, I was like, you learn how to drive. I'm like,
Yeah.
fine. I'm like, put the first gear. I'm like, the first car you want to buy, you're young and you want to see what it does. So basically, you put first gear, clutch, and full throttle, and just it's like launch controlling the car. I'm like, all of a sudden,
You like the car now?
I hear like something is roaring. Something, something, no, like something is screaming.
All right.
Like
What does it sound
a
like?
fucking band in front.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
It was a V8 turbo,
Okay.
and the turbo was upgraded.
Okay.
And the
how did your dad not know that? Oh, I know how this happened for
man,
sure.
you know
Like,
لما you find those
انا بعرف
cars.
واحد عنده سيارة نظيفة حاشتري لك اياها.
Hey, خرج
This is what
بس
happens.
ما كانت نظيفة.
What they know each
Wait,
other.
okay,
probably.
so
And
you
he
found
bought-
No,
out.
he actually one of his friends like خذ له هالسيارة لابنك خليه يتعلم السواقة.
Yeah,
ما
probably-
بتمشي
he
فوق
probably trusts
20.
the guys, man.
So what happened
I went
to the
down
car?
the cliff. I couldn't handle the car. Yeah, it was okay. So
How
the
long
first gear,
after
I don't know what you
owning
call
the
it. The first gear that's down.
الكسر.
بالعربي يقولوا بريمير كسر. So حتى I was putting up. The car was turning off. Then it was turning off. Then it was turning off. And I'm like, what the fuck is the car? Like I'm engaging properly. Then all of a sudden, my driver tells me, I think this is down. I'm like, down. Oh wow. So it's like first, second. Like
Okay.
you have to get used to it.
All right.
So I did first, second. I drove the car. I got with the car like I was driving it slowly. Got used to it. Then all of a sudden, طريق فنار. There was a curve, like the road that takes you to Ain Saadi from Fanar.
Okay.
I was second gear. I double clutch and I throttled. All of a sudden, I see the car's front end on the cliff and going down. And I called my dad. Like I crashed. He's like, "Did you learn how to drive?" I'm like, "Yeah." But it's like, keep the car and just come back home.
Nice.
And I actually never saw the car back in that cliff.
Is it still there?
Rumors say.
Some say.
Some say. Like it's محرزة to go dig up now. No,
Yeah,
pretty
It's
sure it's
actually
gone.
worth money now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was back then. It was worth nothing, by the way.
So that car went. Then came the 3 Series
No, so yeah, then came the 3 Series. Then my father saw me drifting the 3 Series.
and sold it.
He sold it. He got me a Land Cruiser. Actually, no, it is a Land. It's a Lexus LX 470, and the car was actually very heavy duty. But I hated my life to a point that I used to drive this car as if it was a Mini Cooper on the highway.
Oh God.
So I was very irresponsible driving this car. I cannot deny, but it was fun driving it. That I had to nag. Like I cannot go with this car to uni.
Okay.
First days of my university, I'm not gonna go with this big ass shit car.
Wait.
Is that where when the Camaro came?
Yeah, that's what I want to know because you had a Camaro.
No. So basically, after selling the Land Cruiser, my dad and I went to Renault.
Okay.
He's like, you want to learn how to
the
drive?
Clio.
You buy a car and it teaches you how to drive slowly and slow. It was back then the Clio 3.
Not even an RS.
RS.
Okay,
Clio 3
RS.
RS. 2012.
Okay.
All right.
I got it from the company. I'm laughing because back then I launched controller from the showroom. I was very stupid. Yeah. So Rodage, who?
Yeah.
I was very excited. Like, you can't tell me drive the car 1,000 kilometers and your RPM has to be 4,000. Like, no, I'm not gonna wait. You deal with it.
So that car ended up.
So I took this car and I started learning on it, but I hated the car because the service of the car was very annoying. They had no parts for it if something got damaged.
Because it's an RS. So.
It's an RS, yeah. And back then it wasn't on demand, so it was coming like on order. So basically, someone ordered this car and didn't take it. I ended up taking it.
Okay.
Although it was very fun and it really taught me how to drive.
What happened to that car? How did that car end up going away?
So that car ended up going away because, I got to the maximum limit of driving the car. It was a 217 horsepower.
Yeah.
Or 217 horsepower.
Okay.
It was NA, 2-liter engine.
Sounds like fun. No?
It was very fun. Actually, it's a really nice car to start as a
beginner.
With it, and it teaches you how to drive line. But at the end, it's a front wheel drive. Like you cannot go more than that. And I actually pushed the car to its maximum limit.
Wait, but no, I remember the day like you decided to sell your car after.
No, so basically having the Renault, I saw a 1972 Camaro Z28.
Okay, there we go.
So it was red, and the car was actually not stock.
Like. Hold up.
1972.
Yeah, I forgot what they looked like.
Wait, but didn't the Clio RS when you sold it? Did I not one point the shirkit like at the company something happened with the lift?
Yeah, it was okay. So basically, at 10,000 kilometers, I damaged the clutch.
Okay.
So I wanted to. This was my car. Like copy paste this one.
Yeah.
But I had the hood. I had this hood.
Bro,
all
this
right.
generation looks. So
I still
nice.
have pictures on it. Probably on Facebook.
Okay. Wait. So
Nice.
back to the So what happened with the service?
So basically, they put it on the lift. It was going on the lift.
Okay.
Up, and all of a sudden,
The
I don't know what
drops.
I don't know what I don't know what type of lift they had. Like
it malfunctioned and the car.
it malfunctioned and the lift completely.
What? Lahza, I spaced out for a second. What?
The lift complete. So basically, the car's on the lift, and the car's going up like. You know that sound? It's like the security that does every time.
It's locking in. Okay.
And it wasn't doing that noise. I was seeing the car far away. Like I gave the car and I left. I'm leaving. I ordered the cab and I'm leaving. But I was seeing the car on the lift for them to replace my clutch. So while going on the lift, I don't know what happened to the lift. Then all of a sudden, the lift and the car, they drop. So the suspension.
You're gonna get a good sound clip, by the way, guys, with the bottle and yeah.
This is how my car went down. So the suspension, four suspensions exploded, and they went off the frame.
Yeah, there you go. The shock mounts.
Yeah. I'm
top hat is gone.
So basically, when something like this happened, like you have to weld, and I'm not gonna weld.
So you're like, Khalas,
I'm not gonna drive this car anymore. Like I'm like, either take it, get me another one, because it's their fault.
So after this, you got the Camaro?
No, I had the Camaro next to it.
Okay, all right. So once that was gone, Khalas, you settled it with
I sold it. I sold it. I didn't want to drive the car anymore, so I got a 328 E90.
Okay.
This is how.
Here we go.
I think. All right. Well, let's take a water break, and then we'll start with the journey into the E generation with the E90 generation.
This is gonna be fun.
All right.
Sure. All right. So we're back, and I think we've started with the chronicles of the E90 generation with Boya.
Thank you.
Now it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. This is where things get interesting. So tell us a bit about how you started your love with the E92.
So after selling the Renault, I always had love for BMW from the previous cars I stole, and
not a sponsored post.
I got an E90 328.
Okay. The sedan.
And the sedan. E90, it's a sedan. The 92 is the coupe.
Mm-hmm.
So I started driving it. The same roads I used to drift where I mentioned. Yeah. And the car is from the US, and I don't know how the car had LSD.
Oh, okay.
So it's a pre-owned car.
What?
Yeah, probably it's an M Performance or BMW offer it as an option. Like you can spec it maybe.
I think
it's an official retrofit from BMW.
Really?
So he was lucky. That's one hell of a catch.
Although I was really mad that I got the car and it was the cleanest, and I never found an E90 with the screen. Back then, the navigation, and this was like a really big issue for.
It was a 328,
cars, and I had a screen. Yeah, it was a 328.
So, I think they added the screens on the 330, 335, and the 325.
No, let me tell you something. In the US,
that's what I remember.
In the
325
US,
is a 328, by the way.
Yeah, it's German.
Different.
No. Actually, no. Actually, 328 is a 330. Because in the US they don't sell 330. They only sell 328. 328 is the highest. After 328 is an M3. 335 M3.
Stop tapping.
So in the US it's a 328, 335 M3. There's no 330.
Okay.
Only in Germany there's a 325, 328, and a 330.
I don't want to geek out too much on the end, like, because I was about to go in right now and be like, wait, but which one had the N50?
Yeah, let's not go into that.
Okay, so you
Anyways,
started off with the E90.
although the car didn't have screamers, the car was drifting.
Okay.
In a very nice way. Like it was really loose from the rear end. So I started driving it more and more and more and more. And after
this is in the span of how many years? Is this like all in 1 year, or is this like?
No, I drove the car for a year. Actually, no, I drove the car for 2 years.
Okay, so for 2 years you had a 328i.
Yeah, I wanted to buy a 335 because it's an N54 twin turbocharged. It was very fast when you tune it.
All right, yeah.
It was the car back then.
I remember.
Yeah.
And it was faster than the M3 E92 when you tune it. So
of course,
I wanted this car, but it was expensive. It was out of my budget. So I got the 328 and I was really happy. And after 2 years, the prices of the 335 dropped
massive.
So I sold it and I got a 335.
A coupe?
A coupe.
So an E92?
E92.
Okay.
E92. It was also a 2007 as well.
Okay. So early gen N54.
Yeah. The first thing I did before even buying the car is that I bought the tune and the downpipe. And I'm not gonna lie,
he knew what he was going for before even going into the car.
Yeah, and I was reading on forums that the car actually heat strokes.
Okay.
So I wanted to put an intake, but it even heat strokes more on the higher gear.
Heat soak. Yeah. Okay.
He on the E92 with 335 always like had a reputation for being very touchy when it comes to like reliability.
2007 is the year when it, like I think it first came out.
Did I say heat stroke?
Yeah, heat stroke.
Oh shit!
Are you feeling something
anyways,
right now?
You got my point.
Are you experiencing heat stroke right now?
Yeah.
I'm
heating up.
So the N54 came out, if I'm not mistaken, in 2007. That was the first year. So BMW with the N54 were pretty much rushing because
geek. Yeah.
No. I'm just gonna give people a bit of a background knowledge, like because Toyota was making. What's it called? 300 horsepower with their turbo, like and BMW was late to the game with the inline six, so they rushed the N54.
Okay.
So, but the N54 and the early gen N54s were like unicorns. Some of them have forged cranks. Some of it's really like a desirable engine. But given that this engine was rushed in development, a lot of things weren't.
It had many issues.
Yeah, water pump would often fail. Wastegates would rattle like crazy. The oil pump would fail. Cylinder head would leak.
The water tank used to crack.
The MOSFETs, the MOSFETs, the diodes, everything in like the electron.
All right, so it's a disaster.
A lot of problems
from the get-go.
Yeah.
But you bought it.
He bought it, and I know what he did to it.
I paid a lot of money on it. So after installing the downpipe and the tune, the car was actually really fast.
Okay.
And it wasn't a JB4. It was an OBD tune.
Okay, so it
was more aggressive, more.
So it was a full flash. It wasn't like there's something
response.
lying to the car's computer.
More boost, more. It had more engine. It had better.
It was
better. More aggressive tune. Actually.
Okay, yeah.
More aggressive tune. It was a riskier tune than the JB4. The JB4 is limited.
Of course. Okay.
JB4 just like plays with the boost. So after that, I was in deep shit. I broke the engine.
In true N54 fashion.
After 7 months owning the car, I broke the engine, the turbo, and the transmission at the same time.
So the car was worth
like zero.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything. So basically, the car back then was fresh. So we had like engines with low mileage used.
So
I bought a brand new engine.
Okay.
And brand new turbos, but instead of having a regular automatic
single clutch,
I swapped it to a dual clutch transmission.
Off of a 335 IS? Or okay. Oh.
So I had a DCT on a 335. The car was crazy. Like the car, I always felt I had lag when driving the car when it was before breaking it. After the magic of the DCT, I even fell more in love with the car. The car was fast. very responsive, and it was like an atmospheric engine. It was very, very fast. It was crazy.
Okay, so
After that, I rebroke the engine. I sold it.
okay, you sold it, and then you moved on to yet another E92.
Yes.
So wait,
legendary.
before we get into further E9212, I just want to ask you a quick question. Why? What makes the E92 so special? Like you've driven quite a few cars.
Yeah.
So you've been around the block.
How many E92s have you had so far?
So I'm gonna start off the counting. We said the 328, then there's the 335, then there's the first M3, then there's the second M3. Am I correct?
Yeah,
So 4 E92s.
4 E9 series, X series.
Yeah, E9X. So
Yeah.
3 E92s, 1 E90. That's he's buying exactly the same car 4 times over.
And this time.
But why? No. Like, on a serious note, because the
what
E92
is this
right now
love
is going up
relationship?
in price. Like the M3 E92s are skyrocketing more or less. But in general, as a driver's car, the E92, in my opinion, and in a lot of enthusiasts' opinion, is a lovely and great car to drive. So I want to hear your input. Like, why was this car like so special for you? Like enough for you to go and buy it 4 times over.
The E90 M3 is a car where you start from point A and put it on any point you want when you're driving it. You want it to drift, it drifts. You want to drive straight lines, you want to drive clean, it's clean. It's a car that understands you. The car is very smooth, clever, and gives you so much confidence.
It's a part of you. It's an extension of yourself.
Like Nick, till today, he drives his M2, and he hesitates to push it because he has power, and on certain corners, if he goes aggressively on the throttle, he feels that it's gonna spin him out.
Okay.
When he drove my M3,
His
for
M3,
the first
5 minutes is all.
or the first time, he did the entry without even getting scared because the car has the exact amount of
it's
power.
like you think it does it. It's amazing.
And the weight distribution of the car.
And the power
plays its
distribution,
role.
it's linear.
There's only one thing.
There's
Only one thing that the M3 is horrible at is the brakes.
Okay.
The brakes are horrible.
The ones that you have now are not upgraded?
I already ordered them.
Oh, okay.
Because I did so many things on this M3, and the brakes are very a must. Because the way I drive this M3,
he drives it to the limits.
Like it's I can never get rid of it. It's staying.
And I remember meeting you. You had an M3 and like a night blue.
Yeah, that was my bitch.
Yeah. It wasn't the cleanest M3 I've ever seen.
No.
By the way.
It was the cleanest M3.
Was it?
It was the cleanest. It never had an accident.
Okay, but I'm not talking an accident.
Cosmetically, he doesn't care. He drives, man. He's in it for the drive.
This M3, I bought it. It had 70,000 kilometers on it.
Okay.
I drove it 337,000 kilometers on it, on the same engine. I did 3 times the bearings. You have to know how to do the bearings in the E92. So basically, the E92 has one problem, and the E46 as well, is the rod bearings. The rod bearings is a very it's a very delicate
you have to know what you're getting
of
into.
The engine, which you have to replace by time because your engine is always revving to 8,000.
Okay.
So this is the
Especially
only.
I'm just gonna like to give people a bit more context. So basically, there are clearances within the engine. Okay, and BMW had made the clearances in that engine so tight that over time the metal from the crankshaft or anywhere or the rods would start scraping each other and like wearing down the bearings themselves, which would need replacing. It was a common issue, but like in the end, the V8 engine in the E92 is derived from the V10 that was in the M5, which is derived from Formula One. So it's a race car engine. So this was this wasn't a thought for BMW, and that's like something people give them shit about. But in the end, you're getting a race car
inherent
engine.
For them to just do this.
No. So this is when people talk about rod bearings, this is the reason why the clearances are so tight, because they come from a race oriented like program.
And you cannot just like install them just remove, put it, and screw them up. No,
there's specific ways to do it. Yeah,
very specific procedure for installing the bearings. Especially when you remove the screws from each bearing, you cannot put the old screws back because once you put the old screws back,
you cannot get an accurate torque because they stretch with heat. They expand and
stretch.
shrink.
So you have to buy new screws, and you actually have to put the screw, tighten it, and loosen it 3 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very delicate.
And you have to get
learning something new here.
You have to get plastic gauges to check the clearance. You have to get the assembly loop.
Feeler gauges.
It's a whole process.
So it's a process.
But regardless of this, you still love the M3.
Yeah, you did this 3 times.
3 times on my old M3. The only thing that I broke in my M3 is the dual clutch transmission and the differential. The dual clutch I broke it 2 times, and I broke my differential 3 times.
This was the old M3, not this one.
No, this.
I was never gonna sell my old M3.
Yeah,
I never wanted to sell it, but sometimes you have bad days at work where you need to sell.
Life happens,
stuff.
yeah.
So
stuff happens. But then you found this gem you're driving now.
Found the car that I always wanted to buy because they did an ad once when they released the M3 E92.
It's a frozen black M3.
It's the not wrapped. It's the not a 320 and swapped.
Oh man, come on!
Just for some
Kamal
friends to listen.
By the way, every time I post this car, some of our friends comment, "Oh, a 320 swap."
They like
an inside joke, like
and people take it seriously. I get like DMs and like comments, replies to our friends. Go, bro, are you serious? Can't you tell this is a real M3? People just like have arguments with my friends are commenting to.
Listen, anytime you post a car that's from one of our friends, I have to go shit on it. You posted his cars, you're like rear wheel drive or all wheel drive. I just walked in front wheel drive. I don't own any front wheel drive car.
Yeah.
But
for example, Steph was like, "Yeah, I'll take the 320 instead of the Lancer."
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna make things clear. I can give you my VIN number. And it's not swap. It's an M3. It's an original frozen black produced only in 2011.
So now I know why he wanted to come with us on the show.
Yeah,
just to clear things up.
I'm gonna even get close to the mic and look in the camera. It's a 2011 BMW M3 E92 competition. Shut up. Competition. And I'll give you the VIN number as well. And there's only 91.
Put the VIN number up here.
I'm gonna do a big ass sticker here behind. And it's a competition. Okay. And only 91 units were sold, and only 28 units were sold in the US.
Okay. The frozen black.
The frozen black. It's only produced in 2011.
Okay.
So
you got it from the UAE.
I got it from Dubai. Yes, I got it from Dubai, and I got it here.
All right.
Okay.
And not too long ago, you got an Evo 9. So just
that's what we're talking about. All-wheel drive or rear-wheel.
Yeah.
So what is that like compared to the E92?
Because last time we were talking about how what you should look out for future classics, and I think I mentioned that you got a brand new car. We didn't mention.
Yeah, we congratulated him.
Yeah, we congratulated you for buying the Evo 9.
I was really excited. And he mentioned me on the first episode. Like someone was excited. Yeah, I was really.
This is the guy that was excited. So yeah, you bought the Evo 9. So why did you buy that car? And like, how does it compare to your E92?
Stop making noise. The microphones are very sensitive. You're making noise. I hear you.
I'm laughing. I'm just smiling.
Move your
I'm squeaking. Dude, you guys are tall. Your legs touch the ground. I'm short.
He has insecurities. It's fine.
You drive?
All right, back to the Evo 9.
Want to race? Okay.
So yeah, you got the Evo 9.
I got the Evo 9. It's a SE.
Okay.
Evo 9 SE. It comes with red stitches and stuff like that.
Red.
Half leather, half Alcantara. It's a nice car. It's black on black. And I always wanted this car back then when I was in school. And my parents were like, "No, we're not gonna give you a car because once they see a wing, it's like, oof, this car's gonna fly." Like, okay, there's a wing just to keep the car stable. It's not gonna fly. But for them, it's something very fast.
You also have an Evo 10, so like, why would they complain about it?
Yeah, Evo 10 is actually my brother's car, and he's in love with it. He loves it as well.
It's my favorite Evo 10, by the way, on the road. I love your brother's car.
It's very clean and neat. We really maintain our cars to the max.
Shout out Garo.
Even though I pimped his car, not him. I'm the one who fixes the car in his family. No one does shit.
I'm just gonna like backtrack a bit. So the Evo 9.
Yeah.
run us down some quick stats. How much power does it make stock? How much power is it
Is
making
it
now?
stock, by the way? First of all, is the car stock?
This is Christian we're talking to.
Yeah,
You know your
and it's an Evo 9 in Lebanon. Surely it's not going to be stock. But I mean,
it's not stock.
what's stock? What's
you know
stock?
it's a 4G63 engine. You know what's a 4G63 engine?
Tell us. Tell the listeners.
Tell the world.
Tell the world. Okay. Tell the world.
I'm being big, bro.
It's like a word that you should never stay stock.
Okay.
Like, you can never stay stock in an Evo. Like if you really stay stock,
yeah, okay.
It's like I'm sorry, but
So
sell it and buy a Toyota Corolla.
I agree.
Buy something that you need to drive every day. Because if you buy an Evo and you keep it stock and you don't actually know how to, people who keep the Evo stock are the people who never push the car to its limit and never actually knew the potential of its car. So the Evo 10.
Now you're saying this, but now I just remembered our friend, he bought the Tommy Mäkinen Evo. Was that stock or not? Because it's
stock.
Okay, so what's the difference with that guy who originally had the car and he kept it stock? Because it's a collector's car, you think?
No, because back then, the Evo 6, back then when it was released, it wasn't that car that had lots of parts to tune back then, but the parts were released after that.
No, the Evo
after
Gen
the
7, 8, and 9
had more parts to tune the car.
Of course,
the Evo 6 wasn't sold as much as the 7, 8, and the 9.
Yeah, it's for sure more limited.
Yeah,
9 wasn't sold.
And the system was reviewed. The 4-wheel drive, the all-wheel drive in the Evo was
reviewed.
Yeah,
I'm just picking his brain on how he thinks about it.
So basically, the Evo 6 is a car. It's a very nice car. It's a very light car, but it's a hectic car. Sorry to fix.
Okay.
Especially you can barely find parts because the car was barely sold. And
so you thought the Evo 9 was your sweet spot to buy a car?
Yes. How much does it weigh?
I think it's 1,350 or 1,400.
Wow. Okay. How much power?
Is extreme.
My car, it's a 2.3 stroker with a stock turbo with stock injectors. It's running with a secret sauce of my mechanic.
Secret sauce.
Shout out Jay.
Jay, performance engineer. Ring. It's probably running like 400.
Okay, on a car.
Just keep in mind, people in Lebanon like to chase numbers.
Yeah.
400 horsepower on 1,300 or whatever kilos. Like the M2 is around 1,700. Just keep that in mind.
I really don't care about drag race. There was a phase in my life I used to go down
Costa?
No, actually not Costa. It was Marina.
Yeah.
It was Marina. Yeah. We used to go down and I thought that drag race, it is a very nice sport, but it's not for you. It's not showing who's the strongest driver. It's who has the strongest car. So basically for me, it's an achievement what they tune the car to be fast, but they're not showing their driving skills. So for me, this is something I didn't continue. Yeah. I didn't like it because I like drifting, I like racing, I like driving lines, I like challenge, but I reached to a point at this age, I have to stop actually challenging people to race me or follow me because I have so many friends who crashed trying to follow me. And there are also now some new generations that I taught and after I taught them how to drift and have car control, which is the most important thing in the car and driving any car is to have car control. So if the car actually went more sideways, how to actually escape the crash.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's easy to drift, but it's easy how to get the car back on track when you actually do a wrong entry.
Okay.
So yeah, and these people I actually taught, and I have pictures and videos them by my side.
We believe you
are challenging me these days to race.
The master versus the
I
pupil.
tell them from now, you guys win. I don't want.
You don't want to challenge. You don't want to challenge.
Listen, I had friends who actually were very good drivers, and hard to say that they passed away with a very stupid accident.
Sorry to hear that.
So after these scenes and these stuff, I'm like,
it's not worth it.
It's either I really need to go up with friends that really know how to drive responsibly and enjoy my driving. And when I really want to push the car to its maximum limit, I go alone.
Wait, so this is a very nice transition we have into. So basically for people in Lebanon today who are watching, I want to improve my driving. I don't have what can I do today in modern Lebanon to make sure that I improve my driving skills safely?
First thing,
Safely
you drive late night.
Okay.
That's the first thing, because people are mostly gonna be sleeping.
Roads are empty.
The roads are gonna be empty.
Before you say that, let me just preface this by saying in Lebanon we don't have a track for the car, which is why we're
that's
talking
something
about
we're gonna
this.
discuss in a bit.
Yeah, so that's why he's saying on the streets to practice on the streets.
But late at night, so no one's around.
Yeah.
So basically, the streets are the track for me.
Yeah.
Especially the streets have as well a bad tarmac.
Are we talking for drifting or for?
I think he's leaning more towards the reality of driving.
Yeah.
For drifting, it's if you don't have a good tarmac as well in drifting, your front end will go loose.
Yeah.
So sometimes in drifting you need grip. You need grip to actually do a faster exit.
Yeah, to have more control
of the car, because when you have a very smooth, like a dust, almost
like Marina's tarmac,
or Metzler, some corners when it rains it grips. But if it doesn't rain,
it's horrible. It's so bad.
It's horrible. It's very horrible. So
where can these people practice learning?
There are many parking spots in Lebanon that are empty and they're big. So basically, I had the girl who had the orange M6.
Yeah.
I taught her on empty parking, and I put cones. I got cones back then, the ones for the rollerblades. I put cones, and she was actually drifting very well. And I taught her how to start from point A to point B, how to start from point A, shift to second, do the point transition to point. And
and he's done this as well with a friend with his M2 competition, because our friend had been out of the car scene for a while because he's married, has a kid, so he had an M6 that used to be like 700 horsepower, sold it, family life.
It was very
recently got an M2 competition, tuned it. Even without tuning, like he hadn't been in a driver's seat like the way he was for such a long time.
I used to drive
this car more than him. They used to go at night. Yeah, he would go with him, tell him to drive, and he used to record me on GoPro, and he used to watch his GoPro over and over, and I used to explain. So basically, when the owner of the car is next to me, it's very hard for him to learn because he'd be scared.
Okay.
I'm the type of person that's never scared. That's the good thing about me. So I'm a very good passenger to a point, like whoever drives the car next to me and I teach him, like what's going to happen? The maximum thing in drifting that's going to happen, which is safer than racing, is we're going to crash into something. We're going to break the wheel, the bumper. So the damage and the risk on your life is very to minimum. Like we've never heard a drifter crash and died. This never happened. I've never heard this in my life. Okay. So basically, when you're actually racing or driving the car, pushing to its limit, going speed above 180 to 200. So this is where your life is at risk. But most of the people I'm actually teaching is drifting. Why? Because once they start actually going on a high speed and the car rears end start losing, they know how to correct.
Yeah.
Drifting knows how to teach people how to correct when they're actually driving lines. I have one of my friends. He's a professional race driver. He is a very strong driver. He's one of the top drivers you can ever. You've heard his name. So once he saw me driving my old M3, he's like, "How is this fat guy driving this M3 this way?" And he was surprised. Like, he was very surprised. And he used to sit next to me and monitor how I'm driving, although he's a horrible passenger.
Yeah.
He's a horrible, horrible passenger till today. And when I tell him, like, come sit next to me, he's like,
no.
Okay, but
stop. I'm like him.
No, you're a bit better. You're way better.
Yeah.
He really screams like a bitch. So
we're gonna have him as a guest eventually. So maybe he's gonna talk about you.
Perspective. Shifting became like me. We're like the same. He became very professional, but each one in drifting has his own style. So that's the only difference. But after in his racing, when he used to push the car more than its limit, and racing, when you push the car more than its limit, the car sometimes is gonna slip.
Yeah.
When it slipped, he had 100% control of the car. So this is like a huge bonus in racing.
For him,
so
as a race car
driver. So back to the point. So you're saying parking lots
parking lots.
If you want to learn drifting, go to a parking lot, take some cones.
After that, karting tracks we can rent.
Karting tracks.
Yes, the
simulators. Like, what about sim builds at home?
Sim is cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you miss shift, the car keeps going. If you don't,
I know it doesn't break. Like,
it's
okay, that's like
it's
something
not very
it just gives you the vibe of.
So you're not
steering.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. Like, you saw me when I was driving on your simulator last time. Like, it's
okay.
It's so different driving in real life.
So basically, you're telling people go out kart. That's a safe environment. Go out to a parking lot. That's somewhat a safe environment.
Yes.
And then like, if need be, hit the streets, but late at night, make sure like you're in a place that's safe, and like no one will. That's
and when they actually
but do you suggest having someone that knows how to drive with you if you're practicing such a thing?
I wouldn't force anyone. It's like if the person wants to, that's a different thing.
No one taught me.
Okay.
I learned from my own mistakes.
Okay.
And I corrected
trial and error.
Yes. No one is perfect. So for me to reach to this point where I'm perfect in driving.
You're capable of
I'm capable a car. To drive any car I want.
Okay.
Like last time I had my friend, he had a GT3.2. It comes the 4.0. And I was driving and he hated the car because he's not knowing how to drive the car. He drives an R8. And R8 is an easy car to drive. It's a quattro. It has more grip. It's more glued to the ground. It's wider. It's more comfortable to actually do corners.
Yeah.
And the guy doesn't drift. The guy is a person which likes to drive only straight lines and some hill climb roads, like wide roads. And the R8 is a very nice car to actually, if you have good tires, to drive on this road. But if you have bad tires and the car actually slips, like, oh, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
And I drove his GT3, which he hated. Once I drove his GT3, he fell more in love and he stopped driving his R8. Because he never knew the limit.
What you're saying is just get to know your car very well.
Get to know your car very well. Test your car slowly, not aggressively.
Yeah.
Don't just turn on the car and start driving the car and you not knowing the control of the car, especially the young ones who think that they have full control of the car and they don't.
Yeah. So just be very safe and practice it very safely. It only takes
one small mistake for them to really crash and destroy their car and might injure themselves.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take another water break,
and then we're gonna come.
We'll be back. We'll continue this briefly, and then we'll follow up with something.
A speed round.
We think you guys would like it.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready?
Put your phone away.
All right. So just to before we wrap this up, we just have two more questions we'd like to ask you real quick.
Yeah.
We want to get your input on it. Just maybe this will help clarify to people from abroad or people locally about the reality of the car scene here. So I just want to start off and ask you, so do you think that if Lebanon...
head maneuver, by the way. So
he's actually drifting.
Yeah. So
line.
Carry on.
Look at that. Yeah. Okay.
So
do you think
he's a performer?
Do you think that if Lebanon had a proper car track, that people would stop driving dangerously on the road?
Should I answer that?
Tell me.
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
Would you stop driving?
I don't feel ever that I'm irresponsible drifting and racing on the streets. What I'm doing is legal for me. For them, for the government, it's not legal. But let them build a track. Let them do a drag strip. And all of these people who are car lunatics like us will eventually stop driving, drifting, and speeding and driving irresponsibly on the public roads.
Yeah.
What do you think, Anthony?
I mean, definitely we don't condone driving like this, but we don't really have a place for us to practice driving.
That's a sad reality. Like, this is you're playing you're just playing the cards you were dealt. I personally agree with him that if, like, for other hobbies, for example, you like swimming, there's a swimming pool.
Yeah.
You would like football, there's a soccer field, like whatever. For us, I don't understand. Yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of the people there, like they look.
Track.
Yeah.
Where's our truck?
Where's our truck?
I think there are bigger questions at this point to ask them. Where's our money?
Yeah, exactly. Before actually building a track, let them fix the roads.
No. So
let's not go too many details.
Let's not dive into it that deep.
Yeah. Hey, but Anna, so my point is, like, the same way they provide for others hobbies and activities, outlets to practice their like activity. it should be the same with cars. Like I don't see why they should look at like a person who does this is like give him a place to do it. And he won't do it.
I'm not gonna make it political, but is it the government's fault, or should there be investors that want to put money into it?
The investors are ready, and they tried many times.
But the government wants a piece of it for sure, right?
They always want a cut, and the cut is not logic.
Yeah.
Not just that. It's just like when someone comes and tells you, "I'm willing to invest into the people of this country." Like, let's not lie. Let's not be. Lebanon has a huge amount of great drivers, but sadly, there's zero recognition, more or less, worldwide, because there are no outlets for people to compete. Like, or for example, look at Abu Dhabi, look at Dubai and Abu Dhabi with the Yas Marina track. Look at how many, like now they're hosting Formula One. That brings in money. They have people practicing there. No one does anything on the street.
Yeah.
So I don't see why it should be any different here.
Give people an outlet, and then
just like help facilitate people to make it happen. If you don't want to spend the money, like the government or the public people's money on it, okay, but facilitate it so that someone comes and encourages these people to take it off the streets onto a track and help develop the sport. In the end, this is a sport.
Can we just shout out really quickly the guys that own the tracks here in Lebanon that recently are allowing cars to go on track instead of carts?
Yeah,
this wasn't happening before, by the way.
Yeah, I'm very like RPM. For example, I've been to a few, but I like RPM because RPM to me feels
first of all the drive newest, is fun. Yeah. It's the newest. I mean,
and facilities in general, like it's close to me. Whatnot, but like in general, before RPM, they would the owner would refuse to have cars on this on the track because it's a go-kart track. In the end, all tracks in Lebanon are go-karts.
We understand that.
I understand, but like now, I think they've gotten to a point where they realize like there's a business to be made here. These people are willing to pay and do the same thing
in their own cars,
safely on a track rather than do it on a road. I don't mind paying. Tell me, for example, why am I not like the best M2 driver there? Because I'm not comfortable pushing the car on the road. Like I want a safe environment to learn. I'm
sorry to interrupt, but if all the Lebanese people had money to buy a ticket and rent a car and go to Nürburgring or to go to Bahrain or to go to Dubai, trust me, they will all grab this ticket and rent the car and go drive outside. But why should we reach to a point where we can't
do it inside? Yeah.
And enjoy our own track in Lebanon, in our own country, instead of buying a ticket, putting expenses and going all the way outside and coming back and still wanting to drive more,
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's a nice way to wrap up the serious segment of like today. Like, we tried for everyone, we tried our best to show you. Even though there's a lot of layers, there are many layers to this onion. He's small
but mighty.
Yeah, there are many layers to this onion.
but we're not done yet. I mean, we have a quick round for you guys.
But like, we hope you understand the type of person. Like, he's one of many here who suffer from the same issue. Like, they're very great drivers, but in the end, you feel like it's a dead end being here, and it's a shame. But moving on to a lighter note, Anthony, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah.
Explain what we're going to be doing.
We have like a fire round. We're going to ask Christian really quickly questions. You're going to answer the first, like you're going to say the first thing that comes to mind. And don't think about it too fast.
Yeah.
I'm even going to give you like
red or blue.
2 seconds.
Exactly.
Wait,
answer.
Come on.
What?
2 seconds? 3 seconds.
Man, 3 seconds. Just the first thing that comes to mind.
Just think of it like a speed. It's a speed.
We're going to do one more. Okay, so I'm going to start. You take the second one. Okay, all so stock versus tuned.
Tuned.
All right. So 3 cars for the rest of your life.
E92 P1 or SGT 3.2.
All right. Racing or drifting?
Only one.
Drifting.
Okay. All right. So what's your least favorite car?
Peugeot 206.
What's your favorite car?
E92.
Okay.
All right. So what's the worst car experience and what's the best car experience? Really quickly.
What's the worst car experience
you've ever experienced? Like something that happened to you in a car?
Yeah, it was an Infiniti QX4, and we were driving like barely 20, and it flipped over.
Okay. No. Let's not give it. Let's just leave it like that.
Yeah. What's the best experience?
Yeah.
I really want to know more
about experience in a car.
Yeah.
Is
like the best experience you've ever felt.
is actually doing a transition on a road which was very long, and I did it with the minimum power I had, while the other cars had the maximum power and they weren't able to do it.
Okay.
All
right.
Next.
So JDM or German? Only.
Ooh.
Okay.
Audi or Mercedes?
Mercedes.
All right. Evo or E92?
E92.
Slow car.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt. My girlfriend hates my M3.
He's doing that shout out, or else he's blocking him for tonight.
Literally.
She's gonna be listening to this, and she told him to say something about her.
That's the best you could do.
No, but I'm really obsessed in my M3 to a point
that you made
her
hate it.
I'm not selling it. She's like, you're gonna say I'm not selling it. No.
All right. Anthony, take us off with the last question.
So, slow cars driving fast, or fast cars going slow?
What would you rather?
That's torture. That's a torture answer.
What would you rather?
Fast cars driving slow.
Ooh, okay.
Well, Anthony, hold up. This is an interesting one. Just because
we have
what's your take? No. What's your take? Fast cars slow or slow cars fast?
I think maybe slow cars fast.
I personally think slow car. Man, I absolutely love thrashing around in my Honda City.
Plus, if you have a fast car that you're driving, you have to drive it slow. You're gonna kill yourself.
Man, the M2 cannot be driven calmly. It just starts buckling and bucking back.
It's like someone's kicking you in the ass.
Exactly. So why would you want to do that? Or like take a Peugeot 206 and rally it.
All right. So finish off the last question, Nick.
Would you care to share one Mexico story? Very quickly.
A crazy story I've done in my life.
Not too crazy. Like, give us one Mexico story. I think the one where we were going to Mexico to go on a karting track, and then there was a speed camera in Mexico.
I hate that.
I don't know
just tell us that quick story.
Was I there?
Oh yeah.
It's not gonna be quick because it's a long story, but I'm gonna try to speak quickly.
The highlights.
Just the highlights.
So basically, it was a Sunday.
Okay.
We were going to Mexico.
We're going to Mexico.
Okay.
We in the family, my brother and I, we built an E46 M3 top mount turbo. It's a turbo.
All right.
Okay, it's a very fast car. It runs around 1,100 with no race fuel. Long story short, it's a very fast car, and it's very loud because it has an external wastegate. And very fast.
Sorry, guys.
And so it was 6 a.m, and we were going to the meeting point in this Mexico's second area.
Mexico City.
Yeah. And
on our way to Guadalajara.
Yeah.
So we're gonna meet up with the guys. Okay. So my brother, all of a sudden, he was driving the E46, and where the road where he actually floored the car on 6:30 in the morning. In Mexico,
right next to the Mexican police.
Next to the Mexican police.
And what did you do as well? Hold up, you're throwing the shade at your brother. Yeah. What did you also do?
I was actually following him to see if the car is doing any white.
So you didn't drift?
No, I didn't drift because I was actually monitoring the exhaust of his car, of the car he was driving, of the E46, to see if the car was smoking, because we actually rebuilt the turbo.
Can I jump to the conclusion by saying that the guy that took the blame for this
it was my insurance guy who had an M4, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be fun. And he forgot to pay his.
He forgot to bring his. Not pay.
We talked about this.
Actually,
it was in the office. He forgot his insurance papers.
We talked about this.
We
talked about this before. Oh. Well, I think this is the conclusion to the podcast.
I'm just gonna jump to the point because I know the story. So he was late.
So we were late to the track while other other car guys left to the track, and we were paying the fine, filling the papers, arguing with the cops. It took like almost 40 to 1 hour of a delay, and the guys were almost reaching the Mexico track.
Yeah, Mexico track.
Yeah, and I want to be in this Mexico track, because if I'm not there, I need to put my signature, because they all are, where's Boya? Like, we need the signature.
We need your tire marks.
And I had one dumb, slow, ice cube friend. He was to the point where he is slow that you really feel like punching him in the face. So actually, I was flying on this Mexico highway bridge.
This Mexican highway that's close to the Syrian border.
To the Syrian border.
The US border. Sorry, my bad.
And it got bombed once by our neighbors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was going around 240
In Mexico.
in Mexico.
I remember that day.
Yeah. And what happened?
What happened is that my Ice Cube friend, or should I call him actually a refrigerator? Because he makes the ice.
IQ Barra.
Yeah. Mr. Refrigerator
Okay.
decided.
Why are you pointing at me though? I'm listening.
No,
He's
I don't know,
just
that's point.
expressing,
Because
he's
I'm pointing because
Okay.
he's sitting next to me.
Yeah, yeah.
He saw the radar before crossing the radar and didn't tell me. And after passing the radar at the
He's
speed
like-
of 240, he's like, Boya, you actually passed a radar behind.
Going
And
240.
I'm like, you saw him? He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
because I wasn't able to tell you because you were speeding. I'm
So
like,
bad.
hey,
Okay.
I'm like, dude, you should tell me because I was speeding and I need to slow down so I won't get a ticket. And I got a ticket. I got a big ass fine, and they wanted to put my car in the pound, and I was gonna go to jail for a month.
Oh wow. Mexico prison.
Long
is not
story.
really
Yeah,
fun.
Mexico.
But you know, in
stories.
Mexico, you have one cup of coffee and everything is solved.
All right, guys. I think that's gonna be a wrap for
I
today.
think on that note, I think we can end the podcast on a good note. I think we need to thank our guests.
Yeah,
for,
we need to thank you for coming. It was
Entertaining, to
lovely
say the
and
least.
entertaining to say the least.
Yeah,
I
And
was
just
happy because I'm actually gonna enjoy my drive back home. Those are empty.
yeah. So yeah, guys, we're gonna end it here. Please stay safe on the roads. And you wanna say something?
yeah,
else?
I'm just gonna a small announcement. So besides the table getting painted, despite the new mics, like that on the side.
Hopefully they sound good.
We're gonna be doing our best. So some of us are gonna be traveling throughout the next couple of months. So we're gonna be doing our best to get some content out now, save it, put it on the side, so that once we are abroad for a small period of time, we don't disrupt any flow.
Yeah, we don't
of,
keep you guys waiting. And
Yeah. Hopefully you guys want it that bad, yeah. I don't know. If you don't, like, shit, you're still getting it both ways. So we just wanted to let you guys know. And yeah, that'll be all.
Yeah.
One last thing. BMW M3 E92 frozen black. Real fucking frozen black.
We're gonna cut it here.
wrap.
We're gonna cut it here. Bye, guys. See you.
This is gonna stay.
Bye, guys.
Wait, what's my VIN
Take
number?
care.
Let me
Take
say
care.
my
We'll put it for you.